Hello, students! Welcome to Grade 10 Science Lesson, and I'm your teacher, Ma'am Marian Soriano. You have learned so far how evolution of different organisms through natural selection can result in biodiversity. In today's lesson, you will learn how biodiversity can influence the stability of an ecosystem, the relationship between population and growth and carrying capacity of a specific environment. And most especially, you will become more aware of the different human activities that have negative impact on the environment. Lesson 10: Ecosystem Biodiversity. Biodiversity is a term that describes how diverse living things are in a specific area. Organisms such as plants and animals, small or big, they are part of biodiversity and are economically and ecologically valuable. Biodiversity is important because it sustains the balanced flow of energy in an ecosystem. Biodiversity is important because it contributes to environmental stability. The stability of an ecosystem can be described as the resilience to withstand changes that may occur in the environment. Organisms are important because their products are source of food, medicine, clothing, shelter, and energy. They maintain balance in the ecosystem by performing their specific roles. Some maintain the quality of bodies of water. Some prevent soil erosion and floods, cycle minerals in the soil, and absorb pollutants. And others feed on insects and pests which control the population of organisms in a certain environment. Thus, organisms maintain a balanced and stable ecosystem. In general, the value of species or organisms can be divided into three categories. We have direct economic value, which means a species is considered to have direct economic value if their products are source of food, medicine, clothing, shelter, and energy. For example, some medicines being used nowadays have formulation extracted from plants or animals. Next is indirect economic value. A species has indirect economic value if there are benefits produced by the organisms without using them. For example, certain species maintain the chemical quality of natural bodies of water, prevent soil erosion and floods, cycle materials in the soil, and absorb pollutants. And lastly, aesthetic value. A lot of species provides visual or artistic enjoyment, like a forested landscape and the calming beauty of a natural park. Or they may be used for spiritual meditation like the prayer mountains. Let us perform a simple activity. Get a piece of paper and a pen. Number your paper from 1 to 10. Let's start. Write DEV if the value of the organisms has direct economic value, IEV if indirect value, or AV if aesthetic value. Let's start. Number 1. Plants absorbing carbon dioxide and produces oxygen. Number 2. Waste of animals turn into biogas. Number 3. Woods turn into furniture. Number 4. Fish or fishes maintaining the pH level of bodies of water. Plants used in parks. Number 6. Eggs, milk, and meat from poultry animals. Number 7. Rubber trees to make shoes. Number 8. Phytoplankton helping in fixing the Earth's ozone layer. Number 9. Carabao helping farmers in plowing the fields. And number 10. Flower orchids used to make lace for visitors. Let's see how you did well in our activity. Let's check. Since you now know the importance of biodiversity, let us learn how the population of organisms in an ecosystem affect biodiversity. Relationship between population growth and carrying capacity. Population is a group of organisms of the same species that live in a certain area or community. Scientists regularly monitor the number of populations of organisms in an area because an increase or decrease in population can be indicators of potential problems in organisms' environment. As a population grows in an area, a population may experience the effects of increased densities. Population density refers to the number of organisms per unit area. Please take note that if the population's density is very high, it means that there are a lot of organisms crowded into a certain area. But if the population's density is very low, this means that there are few organisms in an area. As a population grows in an area, a population may experience the effects of increased densities. In a given area, the maximum population size of the species that the environment can sustain is called the carrying capacity. Carrying capacity is determined by the amount of available resources, like food, water, or habitat. If the population grows indefinitely, competition will increase between organisms, and less resources will be available to sustain the population that can lead to density dependence. For this reason, it may cause an ecosystem to collapse. Remember, a growth of population can be limited by two main factors: density-independent factors and density-dependent factors. In density-independent factors, a growth of population may be limited by the following: food or nutrient limitation, pollutants in the environment, and climate extremes, including seasonal cycle such as monsoons or other catastrophic events such as earthquakes. While in density-dependent factors, population can be limited by diseases, competition, and predation. Density-dependent factors can have either a positive or a negative correlation to population size. With a positive relationship, these limiting factors increase with the size of the population and limit growth as population size increases. The stability of our environment is being threatened by human activities, such as polluting the air, throwing plastics in the different bodies of water that can harm or kill the animals, forest fire that destroys animals' habitat, or using pesticides that can increase the effect of biomagnification and eventually can harm us too. What can you do to protect our environment and save Mother Earth? What can you do to save them? I hope you learned and enjoyed our lesson. This is Ma'am Marian Soriano. See you in the next lesson.